Chelsea star vomits on pitch after clashing with Arsenal ace on international duty. Chelsea and Brazil star João Pedro was seen throwing up on the Maracanã pitch while playing for his country against Chile in a World Cup qualifier in Rio de Janeiro. Chelsea striker João Pedro was left in a bad way after a collision with Brazil teammate Gabriel Martinelli. The former Brighton star, who joined the Blues for £60 million over the summer, was seen vomiting on the pitch during his country's World Cup qualifier against Chile. The incident occurred in the 18th minute of the match, as the Brazilian pair both looked to attack a ball into the Chilean box. As João Pedro sat on the turf receiving attention, he turned to throw up onto the turf at the Maracanã. The 23-year-old, who was winning just his fourth senior cap, recovered to play 71 minutes before making way for Caio Jorge. Brazil eventually ran out 3-0 winners thanks to goals from Estevão, Lucas Paqueta and Bruno Guimaraes. Brazil sits second in South American qualifying and have already booked their place at next summer's World Cup. Their final qualifier comes against a Bolivia side who still have a chance of making the Interconfederation playoffs. 7 Premier League players started from Brazil, with 2 more coming off the bench, but there was no place for Santos star Neymar. It was a technical decision based on many factors, manager Carlo Ancelotti said. Nobody can question Neymar's technical ability. What we assess every day, and for every match, is physical fitness. That applies not just to him, but to everyone, Ancelotti added. The former Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain star returned to Santos in January after a spell in Saudi Arabia. The 33-year-old has scored 6 goals during his second spell with the club, but hasn't played for his country since 2023. Getty Images Manchester United midfielder Casemiro, also 33, started a 3rd straight Brazil game after spending all of 2024 in the international wilderness. However, some felt he was lucky to get away with just a yellow card following a stamp on Chile's Felipe Loyola. "I want to arrive at the World Cup in good form," Casemiro told club media earlier in the year. "I want to enjoy the year, to arrive in top form, and it is the title that I am missing. So I want to win titles here. We have new signings of top quality that will help us a lot. Brazil will be one of at least 6 South American representatives in next summer's World Cup. Argentina, Uruguay, Ecuador, Colombia and Paraguay have also qualified, while either Venezuela or Bolivia will get a second chance through a 6-team playoff in March. Co-hosts Canada, Mexico and the United States are also assured of a spot in the tournament, while New Zealand have qualified as Oceania's guaranteed representative, and Australia, Iran, Japan, Jordan from Asian qualifying. In Europe, qualifying only began in March this year, with the group stages wrapping up in November. All 12 group winners will automatically make it through, with England winning their first 3 games, while 4 further teams are due to progress via the playoffs. Premier League's top 10 players this season named with Liverpool and Arsenal stars snubbed. The Premier League's top 10 performers have been determined by Opta, who gauge a player's performance based on key metrics, with Moises Caicedo ranked as the top flight's best player thus far. The Premier League's 10 best players so far this season have been determined by Opta's stats, with Chelsea midfielder Moises Caicedo the top performer after 3 games. England's top flight has paused due to the first international break of the season, allowing teams to take stock of where they're at following the opening weeks. Liverpool sit top with the only 100% record, and yet none of their players make the list so far. They've been impressive going forward, with Hugo Ekitike hitting his straps early, but the Reds have by no means produced scintillating performances to secure their 3 wins. They conceded 4 times in their first 2 games, against Bournemouth and Newcastle, and needed late winners on both occasions to pick up the 3 points. None of Arsenal's players have earned enough Opta points either, which is what has determined the early rankings. They are metrics that measure contribution to games via actions such as goals, tackles, and goal conceded. A player who plays 90 minutes will typically end up with totals between 10 and 40 points, and the player at the top of the tree averages 31.7 so far. Caicedo's influence in midfield has long been lauded, and he will be a crucial figure for the Blues. Another midfielder sits in second in the form of Nottingham Forest's Elliot Anderson, who is now in the England fold. Trevoh Chalobah has enjoyed a renaissance at Chelsea, have previously been cut adrift by Enzo Maresca, but he's now become an influential figure in the backline. Tottenham's Guglielmo Vicario is the only goalkeeper in the top 10, after he kept 2 clean sheets. 2 playmakers in Bruno Fernandes and Lucas Paqueta, both men who've been on target this season, are ranked in 5th and 6th and continue to have major influence over games, particularly in the final third. Joao Pedro's impressive start at Chelsea has him in 8th. The Brazilian has scored twice in his 3 games since moving from Brighton. His Blues teammate Enzo Fernandez is narrowly ahead, meaning Chelsea have 4 players in the top 10, by far the most of any club. They remained undefeated with their only dropped points coming in the goalless draw with Crystal Palace. Despite Manchester City's below-par start to the year, Erling Haaland scrapes into the top 10. He has scored 3 times, finding the net twice against Wolves. His former teammate Jack Grealish has also enjoyed an impressive start to life at Everton as he bids to reignite his career. The playmaker will spend the year on loan on Merseyside, and he's already provided 4 assists in his 2 starts under David Moyes. UEFA have cleared Chelsea over a potential sporting sanction in the Champions League after they managed to achieve a positive transfer balance in the summer transfer window. In July, the Blues were fined £26.7 million for not adhering to UEFA's financial controls, and also risked not being able to register new signings like Joao Pedro, Alejandro Garnacho and Estevão Willian for the Champions League, had they not sold more players than they bought in the summer window. However, on Thursday, a UEFA statement confirmed. The squad list submitted fulfilled the criteria of the settlement agreement, and it was therefore already reviewed and approved before publication on UEFA's website. This summer, Chelsea specifically sold players who were Conference League staples, including Noni Madueke, Christopher Nkunku, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, Joao Felix and Renato Veiga, as the Blues broke the Premier League record in player sales. In fact, the last few days were all about sell for Chelsea, having added 8 of ultimately 9 new signings to the squad. Only Facundo Buonanotte arrived on deadline day, a season-long loan from Brighton. However, when Liam Delap pulled up at 12:44 p.m. on Saturday, it sent Chelsea into panic mode. In the hours before the match, AC Milan had completed a move for forward Christopher Nkunku, and the club had allowed Nicholas Jackson to travel for a medical at Bayern Munich. As the seriousness of Delap's injury became known, Chelsea reneged on the deal with Bayern, prompting an angry reaction from Jackson and his representatives. Chelsea assessed 3 things: the opportunity of signing Sporting's Conrad Harder, the option of recalling Guiu, and finally a choice to bring Jackson back. Ultimately, the club felt Guiu's return was the better choice given he has Premier League experience, unlike Harder, plus he knows the system and has the attributes to succeed. According to Football Transfers, Chelsea's net spend is £1.5 million, with £285 million spent on the likes of Delap, Joao